Hi, welcome. Thank for coming to the psychology of popularity. I'm glad that you selected this course, and I'm excited to tell you about some of the work that I've been going and lots of research have been doing in the area of popularity. But when we talk about popularity, a lot of people will sometimes say it is really a subject that people study in psychology. In this just something that is important is school in electing. What difference does this really make in the real world? So maybe a good way to start if for it to talk a little bit but about how popularity really does play an important role, and it plays an important role actually that holds the entire lifespan. So with of LF course we when think about who cares about popularity, we think about children. And in this graphing, what you can see is that even staring at very young age, and this graphing and from over 20 years ago. Children spend for more time of the waking hours surrounded by their peers than surrounded by adults. And you can see here that between the X of about 2 all the way until pre-adolescence, there is this dramatic and increasing tendency for kids to interact with their peers. So, of course, if those interactions are ever since difficult field which machines then going to have a big effect on the developing child. What you don't see after the creeping is that their trends just increase dramatically in the adolescence. So when kids get into adolescence, of course, it's totally and cool to spend time with adults, and we see ever more increasing in the amount of time spent with brains. In fact, what we know is that starting at the age of the your children can already tell you which kings are the most popular, which kids are the least popular, and which kids are king of not affiliating with their parents at all. So, starting from a very early in childhood, popularity becomes a really important construct develop they really with important over time. So what you can see how this egg talking on the brain, and what we call note is that from the time that the puberty transition starts, adolescence brain starts to mature, but the whole brain does mature and the same times it actually start in the back, and that the development of the brain killed of months of format. So what that make in that the parts of the brain that are developing the most are the parts that are below the cortex. In other words, the parts that are shared with most mammals, and those things are king of intellectual driving and that you want for revenge. And one of those because in the limbic system that's really important is the desire for social rewards, and the reason why in adolescence there's this big push for our brains telling is to go out and go social rewards is because its way of helping is to develop autonomy from a thought. Its basically telling us your present aren't cool anymore. You want to be able to go out and learn how to be self-sufficient. You're not going to be taken care of by your parents to the rest of your life. So our brain might us really interested in hanging out with peers, being very excited about what happens with peers, and as a result, we tend to be very interested in whatever we can do to make what want to get rewards from people or egg, and simultaneously we become less interested in about, so that's totally natural. Unfortunately, that developed before the part of the brain in the form that helps us to exert control over the thought impulses and keep us from doing it impulsively. That does develop until in later, so we don't really see that happen, which is why in adolescence there's lots of risk-taking behavior. So this is why we see this hook increase in a desire to do what peers do and care what peers think, and in adolescence. So that's a big part of what's happening as we grow up. And of course, we will think about adolescence. Usually, the things we remember the most are not the things that happened with our parents or the things that happened with our course in high school. But we really think about what was popular, how much was I'm embarrassed in front of their peers, how much can I make sure them I'm meeting people to be friends with or today, and that becomes really important. So what about what adults will remain on interesting thing about adults is that for some reason adults love talking about their adolescent in terms of popularity, and if you look at things that you see on TV or songs or especially movies, or there are a ton of movies that kind of bring use bank to house times in adolescence, and we really are talking about peer relationships and friendships. This recent were very really interested in that, and that from nostalgic value. But maybe there's a reason why we also care about popularity as adult, adults. That has to be with President Day. If you think about it, there are a lot of ways that in our adulthood life we are still thinking about and probably really affected by popularity. And hopefully that's why you have so that why you can get an idea about how popularity is affecting how happy you are today, how successful you are today, and how your relationships are going today. There are a lot of different ways that we see this, and probably know much more that we have seen for decades. We see this reflected in social media. So social media is really pulling in back into that adolescent world of caring about what respondent to you, Facebook likes and posts, and how many Twitter followers we have, and which pictures we point up, and how many people have paid attention to that. its king of in a way of planning out this idea of popularity all again, but is doing is in a way that explainable and measurable, and there are numbers next to it. And people sometimes ever get um, happy up about how often their posts have been paid attention to, or they seem to try and get more relationships through social media. So it affected use us about its culturally affected this adolescent section growing up today, but it's also affecting youth adults in a way that we really see popularity playing a roles of the big fictions which celebrates, and if you think about it, celebrates as king of the popular kings in about his school for some reason, and all you like to do is go to the grocery store and think of see all the magazines there. We are remarkably concerned about what they're doing and what they look like and what they say and what their opinions are. This even a big marketing strategy to get celebrity endorsed with the idea that of a celebrity voice a product of explosions a world will we may be more likely to have similar to this. And the reason why it's inclining up on these same ideas of popularity when we will see what choice people do is hugely influencing. In fact, a lot of marketing is really getting towards leveraging the same types of popularity dynamics in current day. And when you think about marketing from the perspective of population marketing, we're really thinking then when it comes to complexing and presidential complexing, this really a way in which we think to be pulled toward the same types of popularity politics, and that really plays an important role, and it's something that affecting our whole culture, and that has a lot to do with popularity. But even if we go beyond the perspective of the entire culture, how is popularity affecting your life? What are things you are expressing every day that have a lot to do popularity children and adolescents? Well, if you work in an office with the of people, then you're probably noting that there are some ways that the office has some of the king of cliques and groups and reputation that there was is his school. It